Assalamu alaikum, children. Can you all hear me? Yes. So let's start, right? So as you know, today we are starting a new lesson, right? We are starting a new lesson and it's a free session. You can share with your friends. If anyone wants to join, you can share the link to them so that they also can be benefited out of this free session, right? So then let's start, right? Okay. So today, children, we will be starting the lesson number 14. Lesson number 14 of grade level, right? So which is a chemistry lesson, that is hydrocarbon. You talk about hydrocarbon and their derivatives. And you talk about their hydrocarbons and their derivatives. So you study about this, right? You study about this, okay? Now, first of all, when you talk about hydrocarbon, right? When you talk about hydrocarbon, to understand what is meant by hydrocarbon, first of all, you have to know that when you take a compound, you study about a compound. What do you mean by a compound, children? You have an element, two or more elements together, you call it as a compound. Two or more elements together, you call that as what? A compound. Right? Now, H2O, which is water, a very known compound to you. A very known compound to you. So, when you talk about H2O, what are the elements do you have here? You have hydrogens and you have an oxygen. You have hydrogen and you have an oxygen, which means there is more than an element. There is more than an element. So therefore, that type of nature or that type of chemistry, you call that as the compound, right? Now, when you talk about compound, children, there are two types of compound. Normally, compounds are divided into two main types, right? As organic compound and inorganic compound. Organic compound and inorganic compound. So organic compounds are the compounds where they contain carbon. If they contain carbon in their element composition, right? If they contain carbon in their element composition, that type of compound you call it as the organic compound. Then the inorganic compound is the opposite of the organic compound, where they do not contain carbon in their elemental composition, right? Where they do not have a carbon in their elemental composition. Okay. Now, children, when you see water, when you take the water molecule, which is a compound, do you find carbon here? Do you find carbon here, children? You don't, right? You don't find carbon in the water molecule. So therefore, water is an organic molecule. Water is an inorganic molecule. Now, now you have an exceptional case. You have an exceptional case. In carbon dioxide, you have carbon. You see carbon is present, you have carbon. Carbon monoxide, you have carbon. Bicarbonate, you have carbon. Okay, in bicarbonate, you have carbon. Or carbon ion, carbonate ion, also you have carbon. In carbonate ion also you have carbon. Listen, even though these compounds have carbon, they don't belong to the group organic, right? Even though they do have carbon in their elemental composition, they don't belong to the group of organic because their features are more likely to the inorganic. So therefore, even though they have carbon, they belong to inorganic. That is an exceptional case. That is an exceptional case. Now, first of all, you have to know what are organic compounds. Organic compounds are the compounds where they have a carbon. But that is except for carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, bicarbonate, carbonate ion, right? Even though these compounds have carbon, they do belong to the inorganic. They do belong to the inorganic. So these are exceptional case. These are what? Exceptional case. So that is the first step of the lesson. You have You have to know what is a compound. Compounds are normally divided into two as organic, inorganic. Based on what? If they have carbon in their elemental composition, you call that as the organic compound. If they don't have carbon in their elemental composition, you call that as the inorganic compound. Understood? Right. Children, you all have to talk to me. You know, if you have joined my previous classes, the very first thing that I tell you is to talk. Right? Talk. Talk to me. So when you talk to me, you are like you are in front of me, you're talking to me. Right? So when you talk in front of a person, you interact. You ask question. You don't understand a part, you're here to learn. You can solve your doubts. So I want that to happen. Okay? I want that to happen. So therefore, children, you all have to talk to me. You all have to talk. You all have to understand what is happening. Right? Children, give me a minute. Mm, 1 minute. Fatima, by mistakenly, I have made you the co-host. Can you please remove from that? Out. I removed. Give me a minute, children. I'm really sorry. I was muted and I was talking all this time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't notice that. I'll start from the beginning. Okay. You have the compounds. Compounds atoms. There are two things. The elements that is present in the periodic table, you call it as the atom. So if those atoms react with another type of an atom. Now water, hydrogen has been reacted with the oxygen. So when they make up a bond, when there is a bond between them, they will form a compound. So based on the carbon nature, if they have carbon and without carbon, they are being classified into two categories as organic compound, inorganic compound. Again, organic compound, inorganic compound, right? Now, when you talk about the organic compound, when you talk about the organic compounds are the compounds which contain carbon. Okay, they will contain carbon, right? While when you talk about the inorganic compound, they are also compound which do not contain carbon. They don't have carbon in the elemental composition, right? They don't have carbon in the elemental composition. So that is the idea that you have to know, right? And then I was talking about when you talk about the inorganic compound, when you talk about the organic compound, you see carbon dioxide, carbonate, carbonate ion, and all stuff you have, okay? And bicarbonate as well. So these are exceptional case. These are what? Excused one. Even though they have carbon in the elemental composition, they don't fit to the group of organic because they have more likely features of the inorganic, right? They have more likely features to the inorganic. That you will study. The reason why it is, you will study in your A levels. If you are planning to do bio or max stream, you will study that. For your O level, to pass the exam, you don't have to know about it. What you have to know, there is exceptional case when you talk about the organic compound. Even though carbon dioxide, bicarbonate, carbonate ion do have carbon, they don't fit to the group of organic. They belong to inorganic. They belong to what? Inorganic, right? Then, when you know, you can see that, right? You have lipid. Now tell me, what is the elemental composition of lipid? You have learned in your grade 10 first lesson. Anyone volunteering to tell me?
Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen.
Very good. That is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Now, you see carbon that is present. You see carbon is present in the elemental composition of lipid. So therefore lipid belong to the group of organic. Lipid belong to the group of organic. Right? Now when you take carbohydrates, what is the elemental composition of carbohydrates?
Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen.
It is the same. If you don't know, children, all levels are getting near. So make sure you study about it. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. They do have carbon. Then carbohydrates also an organic compound. You take water. You take water. Do water contain carbon atoms in the elemental composition? Do water contain carbon in their elemental composition?
No.
No. So therefore, water is an inorganic molecule or inorganic compound. So did you understand the variation between the organic compound and the inorganic compound? Did you understand that? Let me know in the chat, send it to the co-host children. Right. Okay. Now let's move to the next part. Let's move forward to the lesson. Children, all the time, make sure you are into the class, right? You are giving your 100% to me, right? You are focusing on what you learn. You are listening to me. You are answering to me. So make sure that is happening. So make the time that you spend is worth. Make it worth. Okay, you are spending for 2 hours from 4 to 6. So utilize that time and study this lesson and finish it off. Right? Study this lesson and finish it off. You don't have to carry it for the next day. Okay? Right. Now, you know that if you have carbon present in a compound, that is a organic compound. So, with the word hydrocarbon, you can see carbon is present. Okay, with the word hydrocarbon, you can see carbon is present. Without having carbon, will they name it as hydrocarbon? No. Okay, without having carbon, they will not name it as the hydrocarbon. If they have carbon, they have carbon. So what type of compound is it? What type of compound this hydrocarbon is?
Organic.
Very good. It is an organic compound. Hydrocarbon is an organic compound, right? Now, children, hydrocarbon. Remember, if you have the word hydro, this is not all the time. You can't relate this example all the time because normally if you talk about hydro, that is related to water, right? That is related to water. So, here they don't have water. They don't have water, but they have hydrogen. They have what? Hydrogen. So when hydrogen and carbon is in one compound, that compound you call it as a hydrocarbon. Right? Look here. Hydrocarbon. Hydro stands for hydrogen. Carbon stands for carbon. When you have a compound with a mixture, with a combination of hydrogen and carbon, you call that compound as a hydrocarbon. Understood what do you mean by hydrocarbon?
Yes, miss.
Yes, teacher.
Right. Good. Okay. Now, in order to prove that, there is an experiment that we have to do. And this experiment can be asked you in your exams as well. So that is why I'm going to discuss this. Right. So look here. Right. Now, children, you are going to have a candle. Now, listen. This is the experiment. Okay. I'll share the tute once I'm done with the teaching this part. I'll share it to the main group. So if you don't have the access, just leave a message to me. I'll send it. If you are there in the group, don't send message. I'll I'll upload it to the group. Okay. Right. Now look here. You are having a candle. Okay. You are having a candle. Right. Then you are having a beaker. Right. You are having a what? A beaker. You are having a beaker. Right? To the beaker, in the beaker, you're going to have some water. In the beaker, you're going to have some water. Right? You're having water. Then what are you going to do? You're going to dip a U-tube. Not the YouTube you watch. It is a U-shaped tube that you call it as the YouTube. Not the YouTube that you watch videos and spend your time. Not that. It is a U-shaped tube. Okay. You have that. You are going to add it. You are going to immerse into the liquid beaker. Water beaker. Okay. Then you are going to connect a funnel. What is a funnel? Funnel is used to pour something. Okay. In other terms, what else? When you go to shop to measure kerosene oil or oil liquids kind of thing, avoiding spilling funnel. I hope you know what is a funnel. Okay. Then you have a YouTube. Then connecting to the YouTube, you are going to connect that to the test tube. You are going to connect it to a test tube. Right? You have a test tube over here. In the test tube, you are going to have some lime water. In the test tube, you are going to have some lime water. Right? Then to that, you are going to have an aspirator. Aspirator is to allow the gas flow out. Aspirator will allow the gas to flow out. It is a kind of a instrument. Okay, aspirator is a kind of an instrument which is used to allow the flow of air out. Right. Now look here. In the beaker, you have the water. And in the U-tube, you are going to have some anhydrous copper sulfate. Anhydrous copper sulfate. Anhydrous means, children, where you don't have water in that compound. Right? Where you don't have water in the compound. Anhydrous. Hydrate is containing water. Hydrous, having water. Right? You have the aqueous medium. Right? If there is no water in the compound or the mixture, you call it as the anhydrous. Anhydrous copper sulfate. You're going to have the anhydrous copper sulfate. Now, when this lights up, when the candle lights up, you're lighting up the candle. Right? You can collect the gas. You can collect the gas through what? Through the funnel. This is the funnel. You have the funnel. Through the funnel, you can collect the gas. Then what is going to happen? This gas will travel through the U-tube. In the U-tube, you have the white color anhydrous copper sulfate. This is the white color anhydrous copper sulfate. Copper sulfate, if it is in the state of anhydrous, is white color, right? Now, when the gas moves towards the anhydrous copper sulfate, there is a reaction taking place. There will be a reaction taking place. So, after undergoing that reaction, you can see that the white color copper sulfate is changed to blue color copper sulfate. It is changed to one color copper sulfate, blue color copper sulfate, right? Initially it was white. Later what has happened? It has been changed to blue color copper sulfate, right? It has changed to blue color copper sulfate. Then further, what is going to happen? This will travel through the U-tube, and it will come to the what? Test tube. In the test tube, what do you have? You have the lime water. You know that. You have learned in the unit 16 of grade 10. How do you identify carbon dioxide is present? What is
Lime
the
water.
experiment? Yes.
Lime
What
water.
is the observation? Very good. What is the observation you get out of it when you have lime water and they react with the carbon dioxide?
It
Milky
will be
color.
changed into milky color.
Very good. You will observe
Turns
a
into milky.
milky color, right? You will observe that the lime water, the colorless lime water will turn to milky color, or you call it as off-white as well. You can use either terms. Anything is fine, right? So, which means children, this anhydrous copper sulfate did not have water, right? You know that hydrogen is needed to prepare water molecule. Hydrogen is needed to prepare water molecule. Without hydrogen, does this elemental composition will be there to make up water? No. So, when the gas moved through the U-tube, you observe that there is a color change. Which means, children, the anhydrous copper sulfate will change its color when it reacts with water. Right? When it reacts with the water. So, you can tell that the candle is releasing hydrogen gas. Right? How can you prove that? The anhydrous copper sulfate, which was in white color, changed to blue color. Which was in white color, changed to blue color. So, which means a chemical reaction has taken place. So, therefore, with this U-tube experiment, you can tell that hydrogen is present. Hydrogen is liberated when the candle is lighted up. Right? Hydrogen is liberated when this candle is lighted up. Right? Now, you come to the test tube. You have lime water. When the smoke of the candle passes through the U-tube, and if it is coming through the test tube, in the test tube, you know that you have lime water. In the test tube, you have lime water. So, children, when they have lime water, you know that when the lime water gets reacted with the carbon dioxide, they will liberate. There will be a color change in the lime water. As it is, will change to milky color, or you tell it as the off-white, color. So the colorless lime water will be turned to milky color. Colorless lime water will be turned to milky color. So therefore, children, with that idea, you can state that here carbon is present. Here the carbon is present, right? Here the carbon is present. So you know, obviously oxygen is present in the nature. So therefore, oxygen plus water will form up the water here. So the anhydrous copper sulfate will be turned into what color? Blue color. That is one reaction that takes place here. Then the same gas is traveling through the test tube. and it is turned into milky color. The lime water is turned into milky color due to the presence of carbon dioxide. So therefore, you can tell that candle, you have the candle, right? Candle having a presence of hydrocarbon. They are a hydrocarbon. But when you see the candle, can you state that as a hydrocarbon? No. You do a chemical reaction. When you do such work, you can tell that this candle is a hydrocarbon. It is having hydrocarbon. So this is an experiment to prove or to identify the presence of hydrocarbon. Right? Now one smoke. How did you state it as a hydrocarbon? The same smoke which is going through the YouTube and the test are the same. They are producing the hydrogen as well as the carbon. So therefore both are in one gas. Therefore they are considered as the hydrocarbon. Did you all understand?
Teacher, why do we use copper sulfate here?
To undergo the reaction, right? Copper sulfate will react with water, so then only you can get a color change. Now you do an observation, you do an experiment to expect the results. So therefore you use a chemical which is relating or which can react with the hydrogen, right? So according to the syllabus that they have here used is the copper sulfate, right? To make your work easy, because you have already know about copper sulfate. There can be another type of a chemical present over here, but you know already what is a copper sulfate. You have learned previously. So then that is the same thing they are using. The repeated chemicals only they use.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. So did you all understand, children? Do you all have any doubts based on this?
Nothing, teacher.
It did not have only hydrogen. Remember, hydrocarbon, I
Clear,
what did
teacher.
I tell you? Yeah. Look here, a child asked me a doubt. Look here, I saw that. You have hydrocarbon. Hydro, what did I tell you? Hydro means hydrogen. Remember in a simple way. Okay? Hydro means hydrogen. Carbon means carbon. So when a compound is having both hydrogen and carbon, you call it as a hydrocarbon. Here, there was an experiment to show that it was converted, the color change was observed. So therefore, when it is reacting with hydrogen only, the color change will observe. Then there is a presence of hydrogen. You come here, you have the lime water. Lime water will turn milky when there is carbon dioxide. In carbon dioxide, you have carbon. So, C, carbon, hydrogen, H, both in one gas, that is hydrocarbon. Both together, we call it as a hydrocarbon. Clear? Anybody is having a doubt? Children, if you all have anything to tell, please send messages to the co-host, not to the host, right? Please send it to the co-host, because I will not be seeing when you send it to the host. You're welcome. Right. Okay, now it's time to do the question. Right, this is the first thing that I want you to do. Understand, nothing to memorize. Don't try to memorize chemistry. You can't succeed. Okay, this is a chemistry lesson, right? So you can't try to memorize stuffs. All you have to do is understand the concept. You understand the concept, everything will be smooth enough to study. Okay, so when it is related to chemistry, don't ever try to memorize. There are certain parts where you have to memorize, like definition and the physical property, chemical property. Right? So therefore, children, don't try to memorize it. Understand what is happening, what is the process that is taking place. Right? Okay. Water to make a controlled reaction. To have a controlled reaction, to control the experiment, you have water. Okay. So give me a minute. I'll share you the tune to the group right now. Okay. Give me. Theory class student can do it in the printed tute which is provided. The people who is here for the seminar, you can do it. The tute is sent to the main. So if you don't have, if you are not there in the main group, this is my number. You can send a message. I will forward that. Okay, send a message to this number if you don't have, if you are not there in the group. So then I can send you the tute. If you have it, you can follow up with that. Right? Start doing the questions, children. Do the first 3 questions until the experiment. Everyone has to attempt. Children, listen to me very carefully. When you learn, okay, when you memorize something, when you study something, make sure you put into that question. You answer what teacher provides. So that is where you will have a confidence on what you learn. Okay, I know this lesson for 100%. Sure. I learned it well. To understand that, you have to write. Okay, don't think you join a class, you will have the 100% what teacher tells. You will forget, you are a human. Forgetting is something the manufacturing, what you have it in your nature. So, overcome that, right? Do the work. Do until the 4th question and let me know. Right? Do it until the 4th question, children, and let me know. Everyone has to attempt. I'll share you the screen in a few minutes. Till that, it's in the group. Y'all can get it. My laptop got switched off, so that's why I couldn't share it. But I'll share it now. Okay? Just give me a few minutes along with. At the meantime, if you have any doubts, y'all can clarify with me. Okay? If you need anything, any help. Yeah, probably today I will be completing this lesson and next week we will be starting the biosphere, the last lesson. And in the December 2nd week, we will be completing the entire syllabus, inshallah. And onwards, we will be continuing only the paper class. The theory class, everything will be done by December. Within December, it will be done. Everyone has to attempt the question, right? Please don't be lazy. You're here to learn, so do it. So afterwards only we have so many works to do, so many, like get ready with your papers. You're going to attempt each and every structure, right? You're going to learn it today and make it done. Okay, you're going to finish it with me. You have to learn how the structures for each hydrocarbons. You didn't receive the PDF in the sense? You're not in the main group, Mariam. Okay, I'll send it to you now. Okay, I'll send it now. So others, the people who were there for the previous months, you have the printed tunes. You all can write in that. Mariam, but your tunes have been posted. I have sent you. You will be receiving it in 1 or 2 days. I posted last week, but still you didn't receive it. We'll see. So once you all are done, let me know, children. We can move to the next part. Yes. No, don't do the fifth and the sixth. Do until the fourth question. I did not explain you yet about those. So till that, don't do it. Do it until the fourth one. Right. Some people are done. So others make it fast, children. So then we can move to the next part. Today we have to complete the lesson. That is the target. Right. So I think probably we will be able to do it, but you all have to be active, right? You all have to talk, you all have to answer for the questions. So that is where the learning process will be interesting. If not, you will feel bored to study. Oh, what is this? They are talking about structures. I don't know how to do. That is will be your mindset. When you overcome that, when you talk, when you interact, there will be a fun learning. Okay, good job. People are doing. Others also do it. If you all are done, let me know in the chat. Recording, I don't know. I have to ask the management, right? I'm not very sure about it. I'll ask you and let you know. Okay. Everyone has to attempt. Please don't just stare at the screen. Okay, I want you to work, children. What are the other elements do you have? When you talk about the organic compound, you can have when you take what? When you take lipids, as I have told you, lipids, it is an organic compound except carbon, hydrogen. Carbon, they have hydrogen, oxygen. Then hydrogen, oxygen you can write. You can write for fluorine. You have fluorine present in some compounds, sulfur present, nitrogen present. So you can write those, right? Join, but The reason for this experiment? To confirm that the object is having hydrogen and carbon. That to say that the candle, when you look at the candle, you will not be able to identify that is a hydrocarbon, but they have hydrocarbon. So that is a reason. Hydrocarbon do not involve any other elements except for hydrogen and carbon, right? But organic compound involves other elements, right? So from now onwards, please send your messages to the co-host. Okay, children? Barakallah. Okay. Right. If I have not yet replied to your message, children, just send it to the co-host from now onwards. Right? Oh, so then let's move to the next part. Right? Let's move to the next part of the lesson. Right? An interesting part. Like you are going to work, you are going to write. Okay? So let's see. Right. Now, when you talk about hydrocarbons, right? When you talk about hydrocarbons, they have some variation. There are some variations and they have divided into three categories. Okay, hydrocarbons have been further divided into three categories. How many categories? Three categories. The first category that you have to know is alkali. Alkali. Okay, alkali. And alkene. Then the alkyl. So these are kind of a similar terms, but they are different. They are not the same. They are not the same, right? So now look here. Okay. So alkane. Now when you have a chemical component or you see a name, if it ends with A, if it ends with A, remember it is having one bond. It is having one bond. It is having how many bonds? It is having one bond, right? Alkene is having more than a bond, which means they are going to have a double bond. They are going to have double bonds. Alkynes are normally poly. They are numerous. Okay, they are numerous. So now look how it is worked. Right? Now you know that the scientific, the technical term to tell 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me teach you. You study until 10, 9, and 10. Okay? 1 means you tell met. 1, you tell it as, you don't actually, you tell it as mono. But here, like you are a chemistry student now. Right? A bit develop. You start with meth. Meth, eth. Okay? Meth, eth, prop. Okay? Prop this maybe new, but. Then you have the pent, hex. Okay, now you have to memorize this, okay? Hept, okay? Oct, nano, and the dec. Now, these words are important. These words are important, right? Met, eth, prop, but, pent, hex, hept, oct, nano, and dec. Right? Now, these words are important. Why is that, children? Now, if I give you an element as methane, okay, I'm giving you the element methane. Now look here, how the hydrocarbon work should be done. Look here, everyone, stop all your work and concentrate here, right? Concentrate here. Methane. Methane is an element. Methane is a compound, not an element. It is a compound, right? Now, meth. What is the number of meth? What is the number of meth? From by looking at what is the number of meth?
1.
1. So which means these numbers are there, no? They represent carbon number in the compound. You know that hydrocarbons will have what? Hydrogens and carbon. Hydrogens and carbon, right? So these numbers meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex, hep, oct, nano, dec. These numbers will represent the carbon number that is present in the compound. Okay, the number of carbon that is present in the compound, right? That is present in the compound. Now you see that the word meth is there. If the word meth is there, how many carbon bonds are here? One. Then you bring carbon, right? Now you know that N is there. Meth, N. You both together you call it as methane. You have N. If you have N, how many bonds do they make? Single bonded. Yeah? One or single bonded. So you know that to complete, they should have bond with all four sides. Then here hydrogen, here hydrogen, here hydrogen, here hydrogen. So methane will have the chemical formula of CH4. One carbon, four hydrogen, CH4. Understood? Did you? I'm not asking the 100%. Did you understand? Just what is the work process that is that? Did you understand that?
Yes,
Right.
teacher.
Now look here. Let me take the methane once again. Listen. Right? Methane is a kind of hydrocarbon. It is a derivative of hydrocarbon. Okay? You have methane. Now what you have to observe, you have to memorize this term. Meth, eth, prop, but, pent, hex, hept, oct, nano, dec. Okay? The 10 you have to know. Right? So you see what is the word that is given here. You see meth. Meth is 1. These numbers will represent, if you have that name in a compound, that will represent the number of carbon that is present in the compound. Now 1. Meth is 1. So therefore you have 1 carbon. Right? Then you see the term ane. You see the term ane. Ane means alkane, a type of hydrocarbon. It is a type of hydrocarbon where they will have all single bonds. This is a single bond, this is a single bond, this is a single bond, and this is a single bond. So in order to complete the structure, hydrocarbons are made of only hydrogen and carbon. Right? So you have carbon, you fill it with the hydrogen. So therefore, methane will have the chemical formula of CH4. 1 carbon, 4 hydrogen. Did you understand? Did you all understand? Anyone is having a doubt? Ask me. Right. Now look here. Then the next one. Let's move to the next one. Then you have the ethane. Then you have the ethane. Now you have eth. You have what? Eth. Initially you have meth, then what? If you have eth, how many carbon combinations should be there, children?
2.
Everyone. I need everyone reply. Send it in the chat, or else you can tell me in the what? You can unmute and say as well.
2.
Very good. That is 2. That is 2. Right? You have ane. If you have ane, how many bonds are made? Now children,
One
double
bond.
one bond in the sense, it doesn't mean that they have only one. Not this structure. This doesn't mean the single bond. You have single line, that is single bond. If you have double bond, you bring 2 lines. Right? That is double bond. Don't misunderstand the concept. Since you have 4, it doesn't mean that they are having 4 type of bond. No. One connection. They are connecting to one. So this will have a 1, this will have a 1, this will have a 1 to 1 carbon. Right? So don't misunderstand, which means now this should have 4 bonds. No, it doesn't mean that. Single bond means 1 line. Double bond means 2 line. You have triple bond as well, but you don't study. Right? You have, but you don't study about it. Right? So, how did you find that it's hydrogen? You know, right? Hydrocarbons are made out of hydrogen and carbon only. There is a combination, organic compound which is made out of hydrogen and carbon only. You don't have anything else. But the derivatives will have. Derivatives will move slowly. They will have other elements, but when you talk about specifically about hydrocarbon, they will not have any elements beyond this. Hydrogen and carbon. Okay? Let's come back to the example. So this is what? Single bond. These are what? Single bond. Now you should have 2 carbon combination. You put 2 carbon here. You are going to have 4. You should always, to have a stable connection, you should have what, children? You should have 4 bonds around that atom. You should have how many bonds? 4 bonds around the atom. Right? Then you connect it. Then you connect this. Hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. Here is a hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. So this is the chemical structure of ethane. Understood? So therefore, what is going to be the chemical formula? How many carbons do you have here? Everyone. I want everyone's answer. 2 carbons. Carbon 2. How many hydrogens do you have around?
6.
6. Then H2C2H6. That is the chemical formula for ethane. Did you understand? Did you understand? Anyone is having a doubt? Carbon and carbon, you don't write it. Now, when you write carbon, okay, it is like the bond is ending. You are supposed to connect 2 carbon sets. So therefore, you children, these are the stuff that you have learned in the grade 10. Okay, you connect it. So therefore, this hydrogen, there is a hydrogen, invisible hydrogen, which is belonging to this carbon as well as this carbon. Right? So therefore, you don't write the hydrogen over there. If you write it, it doesn't make a connection between these two. Look here, if it is something like that, does it make a connection? No. Same thing, you erase the line and put. It is like you make the Lewis structure, right? You have the like pairs, then you add it. Cross and a dot, you put it a line. You don't write the cross and dot. Okay? Yeah, welcome. Right. Now, children, did you understand how to do this? How to do this? Did you understand the process of doing it?
Yes, miss.
Right. Then the next. Okay. Then you have, now you are going to try this. I'll just give you a minute. Okay. Challenge yourself and do it, children. Look here. This is a question. You have butane. Draw the chemical structure and get the chemical formula like this. I'll give you 1 minute. Attempt it. Everyone has to attempt and send me your answers in the chat. Or else you can send it to my WhatsApp number as well. If you find you can't, if you want to clarify your structure, you can send it to the WhatsApp number. I will clarify with that. Okay? Or else you can send me the final answer as well. Anything is fine. If you send me WhatsApp also, I will be checking. You send it in Zoom chat also, I will be checking. Right? In Zoom, I don't know whether can you submit the pictures. I don't know about it. Let me check. Do it. Everyone has to attempt. I want everyone to attempt. Right? Very good, Ikma. Good job. Send your answers, children. That is where I can check your answers. You are here to learn. I want your maximum focus. Right? Learn this lesson completely and finish it off. Right? Finish it off. Because all of us are coming, so make sure you are preparing yourself. Right. Can we discuss? Are you done? If you are done, send me your final answer. The chemical calculation, the chemical formula. Sahla, very good. Your answer is correct. Uh, Aman, Rizvi, your answer is correct. Good job. Rahmatullah, check your hydrogen count. Check your hydrogen count here. Imla, check your hydrogen count. Very good, Asma and Ausar. Good job. Good. Very good, Mariam. Good, good. That's how you all have to work. It's okay. It's completely fine to make mistake, right? In my class, it is completely okay to make the mistake, but attempt it. Attempting is important. Trying is important. Rahmatullah, now your answer is correct. Good. Why sorry? That's fine. No problem. No, Imla, just check. Look at your structure, what is happening, how many you have checked. Right. So let me discuss now. Let me discuss. Look here, children. Right. But. How many carbon are going to be present? How many carbons will you have? How many carbon bonds? You see
4.
here, 4. You are going to have 4. Put 4 carbon below. Right? You are having 4 carbon. You can't see that, no? Right. 4 carbons are present. Okay. Then 8. If you have 8, it is about the single bond. You complete the structure. Here, 1, 2, 3. At the hydrogen. That's it. Not at all hard. Not at all hard. Right. Now, in order to get the chemical formula, how many carbons do you have? You have 4
5.
carbons. You have 4 carbons. Now check how many hydrogens do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So hydrogen 10. So this is the chemical formula. I think you can't see that. I'll write over here. Right? So this is the chemical formula that you have to get. Most of y'all have done the correct. The people who sent me, good job. I'm really happy on seeing your progress. Good. Okay? Good. Right. Then the next, you are going to attempt it. You are going to attempt it. Okay? The people who have the tute, y'all can attempt it on that as well. Or else if you want more practice, you can do it. Okay? Then the next. Prop A. Now do this. This is the last example. Then you can attempt it by yourself. The same thing that is given in the tute as well, just to make you prepare. Okay? Prop A. Wait. Okay? I'll give you 1 minute. Now you have to speed up. Speed up. Just look at the numbers. This one you have to memorize. This one you have to memorize, children. Send your answers in the chat or in WhatsApp. Anyways, is fine. But attempt it. I want to see your progress. Okay? Attempt. Good job. Imla, good, good, very good. Very good, Aman Rizvi, good. Very good, Ikma. That's great to see. You'll have to have the confidence of answering, right? Good. Rifa, very good. Then who else? Very good, Sahla. Very good, Mariam. Good, good. Right. So then let's have the discussion since you all have done that. Right? Look here, children. From how many carbon? How many carbons? 3. How many carbons? 3. Complete the bond, then you count. Here a hydrogen, another, another. Right. Now, the chemical formula. How many carbons? 3 carbons. 3 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hydrogen. So this is the chemical formula. Understood? Anyone is having a doubt? Anyone didn't understand this part? Let me know. Clear? Very good, Najla. Good. Just now I read your message. Good. Right. Anyone is having a doubt? Are you clear? Thorough? Any doubt to be clarified? Let me know if you have any doubt to be clarified, children. Right. Now let's get into the tube. Right. Now let's do the questions that is present in the tube. Same one, nothing else. Same thing. Today we'll try to finish the maximum, the lesson. If not, we will be continuing in the next class. Right, I'll share the screen now. So you can do that. Okay. Right. The people who is having the tube, the printed ones, you all can attempt it on that. The people who don't have the tube, you all can attempt it in a paper. Right? Just a rough sheet. Make sure you are having a proper paper. You are writing everything clearly, neatly, so then you can revise it later. So that is how the notes should be. Don't just randomly scribble. That is not going to work. Now the space is also given, right? Do all questions here. Then you have here as well. Now look at the sixth one. That is a special thing. That is a special thing. Right? When you continue doing, you will be understanding there is a special thing. Right? If you can process it and do that, I will be discussing. Okay, don't worry. Anyways, I will be discussing. Okay, I'll teach you about the common equation. For now, just attend the questions. Everyone has to do, right? So that is to evaluate yourself. Yes, I'm busy. It's correct. Because anyways, you will be having the oxygen, right? So in the burning process, you know that when a burning combustion should take place, if you want to have a combustion, there should be a presence of oxygen. So you have the presence of oxygen, then the smoke is liberating hydrogen. Both together will form the water. There will be a water vapor formed, right? So when you have the water vapor, that will react with the anhydrous copper sulfate. Therefore, it will bring a color change as blue. Right? So similar thing is happening for carbon dioxide. So that is why you have the you have the structure called the aspirator to inlet the air, to have a flow of air. Air in the sense they are talking about the oxygen. So carbon will combine with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. When the carbon dioxide is present, it will show the color change in the line water. When the oxygen reacts with the hydrogen, it will show the reaction in the anhydrous copper sulfate. So therefore, both the paths are being valid. Right. Discussion, children. Since you have attempted already, just 3 are new to you. So if you all are done writing, please let me know so then we can move to the next part since we have a big part to cover. Very good, ma'am. We'll wait for others so then we can discuss it together. So double bond is made for the, now you have ethane, okay, ethane. Then what is going to happen, children? You have two carbon combination, one and the other. So the bond where you're connecting both the carbon set together, there should be the double line. So if you don't understand, wait for a minute, I'll explain you. Not for all. You don't have to add the double bond to all, right? You have to add for the carbon that is joining. The two carbons which is joining, for that only you have to add. Right. So I think the time is enough since we have discussed so many questions. We can get into these ones as well. So I've discussed until the propane. Then what's the next one? You can also be discussed. Then we have the pentane, right? Oh, look here. Pentane in the sense, how many carbons are present, children? How many carbons do you have?
5.
5. Very good. You have 5, right? So then you draw 5 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you complete the lines. Right? Put the hydrogens. Okay. How many carbons? The chemical formula. 5 carbon. How many hydrogens are present?
12.
12. Very good. So this is going to be the answer for pentane. Right. Ethane. Look here. Ethane. Okay. Ethane. Right. Now look. Eth. Eth means 2. Ene. It is not ane. If it is ane only, it is what? Single bond. If it is ane only, it is single bond. If it is ene, it is the double bond. Alkene, which is having at least one double bond. Okay, now you are going to have a double bond. You are going to have a double bond, right? Two carbon set. Complete the hydrogen. Complete the hydrogen part. Now the part which you are joining both the carbon set. Now this is one carbon set. This is another carbon set. So at that point, you are going to have a double bond. At that part, you are going to have a double bond. Okay, they will have one double bond. So this is the structure of ethane. Okay, this is the structure of ethane. Now tell me, how many hydrogens do you have? How many hydrogens do you have?
6.
Sorry, how many carbons do you have? Sorry, carbons.
2.
You have two, right? You have two. Then two carbon. How many hydrogens?
6.
Six, right? So that is the formula, right? That's a formula. Clear? Right. Then the general formula to find the alkane. General formula to find the alkane is this. Right? There is a formula that you can use. Okay? Then that is, where will I write it? Where can I write that? Write it here, will you be able to see? Okay. I'll write it here, will you? I'll erase it then. Which you all have done. Okay. So, or else we will do the remaining half. So then, because the time is going right, just have and a half an hour. Right. So we'll move to the next one. I'll give you the general formula in a while. While we are discussing the next part, I'll teach you the general formula. That is just one word answer. I'll give you that. So now let's move to the next part since we have a big part to cover. So we'll do that and come. Okay? Right. Give me a minute, children. Okay. Right. Now look here. Now, children, we are going to study the derivatives of hydrocarbons. Where hydrocarbons, you are going to have a combination, mixture with another element. Right? You are going to have a mixture with another element. Right? Okay. Now, you are going to draw the structure. Right? You are going to draw the structure for chloroethane. Chloroethane. Right. Now look. Right? Eth. Start from what you know. Eth means two carbon. And sorry, ene is there. Then double bond. Chloro is chlorine. Chloro is chlorine. That is the idea that you have to derive from here. That is the idea that you have to derive. Okay? Carbon is present. Double bond in between. And a carbon. Right? And a carbon. You're going to connect one carbon to chlorine, and the remaining are going to be what? Hydrogen. The remaining are going to be the hydrogen. Same process on what they gave, do that. Same process on what they gave, do that. Now it's for you. Right? Now it's for you. You're going to have tetra, okay? Tetra fluoroethene. Okay, you're going to have tetra fluoroethene. Do it. I'll give you 1 minute, children. Children. Tetra is 4. Fluorine. Okay. Do it. Fluoroethylene. I missed the word. Now you can. This is a derivative. That's what I told you. That is a hydrocarbon. Okay, the combination hydrocarbon can combine with another element. Okay, that is a derivative. Hydrocarbons and their derivative. You studied about hydrocarbons earlier. Methane, ethane, butane, pentane, all are hydrocarbons. Now the derivatives. They are going to mix with another element. Chlorine, tetrafluorine, so something like that. That is, they are known as the derivatives of hydrocarbons. So that is what you learn. You learn about the hydrocarbons, then you learn about the what? You learn about the derivatives of them. Ikma, well done. Your answer is correct. Okay. So look here. You have chloroethane. Chloroethane. Okay. Chloro stands for chlorine. Okay. Eth, you know, two carbon. Here, two carbon. Ene is about the double bond. You have a double bond in between. You have two sets of carbons in this eth. Right? You are going to connect to one chlorine since there is nothing. Like if you tetrachlorine, then you will have four. Okay, you will have four. Right? Now, that is going to, you are going to have, since you don't have anything, there is one chlorine. Right? One chlorine, the remaining you are going to connect it to the hydrogen. Ethane structure, to the ethane structure, you are going to add the chlorine. So therefore, you will get. Hamna, check your work. Ethene, right? Double bonds, not ethane, ethene. Children, you can't change the structure of ethene, right? You can't change the structure, right? You can't write something like that, which we drew for the ethane, right? A straight line arrow like this. This structure cannot be done for ethene. Why is that? You will study in your A levels. The reason, okay? Why you have an angular bond, you will study in later. But remember, if it is ethene, okay? Ene, whatever it is, ethene is present, then this is the structure is going to come. You have to draw in this way. Okay. Ethane, you can draw in this way. Ethene, which you are having a double bond, this is how the structure. They should have an angular structure. Okay. Yes, Mariam, a kind of. In that way you can tell, but not all the time. But to have understanding, you can have in such way. Because in your book, they have not given the alkane in such derivatives. Okay, methane, they have given the simple one. So then you can remember in that way as well. No problem. Right. So we'll discuss tetrafluoride. Right. Tetra. What do you mean by tetra? Four. Tetra means four. Fluorine is there. Fluorine element. Ethane. Okay. Eth. Or let me separate. Okay. Eth is there. Two carbon. Okay. Eth means what? Two carbon. Right. A. Sorry, not A. E. double bond. That is a derivatives that you have to understand. The idea that you have to get. Okay. Two carbons. You know that is a double bond because it is ethane. You know that ethane should be in this format, not in this. Carbon, this one you can't draw for ethene. Okay, you can draw this type of a structure for ethene. Okay, this type of structure is not accepted. You have to draw an angular structure. Then you are having how many fluorine? 4. You are having tetrafluorine. One fluorine, one fluorine, one fluorine. Totally 4. Totally you will have 4. Right? Then what is a chemical composition? Chemical formula. You have 2 carbon. Then C2. You will have C2. How many fluorines? Here you don't have hydrogen. Right? Here you don't have hydrogen. That is why you call it as a derivative. An advanced one of hydrocarbon. Okay? Then one fluorine, one fluorine, one fluorine, one fluorine. Total you have 4. Then F4. C2F4. Right? So that is the one. Okay? This is the structure that you have to draw. This is a chemical formula that you have to get. Clear? So you can't change the structure. You can't ask why it is in this sort of a shape. You can't ask that question. Why is that, children? If I even explain you will not be able to understand. Okay? You will be not be able to understand that because you don't have that sort of advanced chemistry knowledge. When you move to A levels, if you are planning to do bio max stream, okay, then you will study that. Right? Then you will know why teacher told that is an advanced one. Right? So in order to study the structure itself, you have to learn about, I think probably around 3 or 4 months you have to spend to understand and study why do you use this type of a shape. That is called advanced. Chemical formula for chloroethene is you will get as carbon 2. You will have 2 carbon. Then you will have 3 hydrogens and 1 chlorine. This is formula for chloroethene. Okay, tetrafluoroethene is this. Right? Clear, children? Clear? Anyone is having a doubt? So these questions are present in the tube. You can do that. Okay. So I was discussing from the tube questions only. Okay. Right. Now, children, can we move to the next part? Anyone is having a doubt? If so, ask me. Maybe this might be new for you to study about the structure, but that is how you have to learn new things. Maybe it might be confusing. If you have that's so confusion, you can ask. Okay, alkene. Alkene means, children, you have a double bond. Alkane, if you have the word ane in a compound, that is a single bond. If you have ene, right? You see here, chloroethene, ethene, right? So this is a simplest one. Ethene is a simple alkene group. Okay, simple alkene one. So ene, if you have E, if any formula is ending, if any what compound is ending with ene, you have to understand the carbon is going to have a double bond. Carbon is going to have a double bond. Here, there is a carbon. Between those two, there is a double bond. That is alkene. Okay? Alkane, you will have one bond. Like methane structure, you have C111. All are single bonds. All are what? Single bonds. They don't have any of the double bond like this. Right? They have only a single bond. That is methane. A. If you have A, this is the structure. If you have E, this is the structure. Understood? next part. Right? We'll move to the next part. Now, children, you have to study what is a monomer and a polymer. Right? Now, you are having a chain. Okay, you are having a pearl chain. Right? Let me extend this. Right? You are having a pearl chain. Let me draw a simple structure. A small, a beautiful pearl chain. Right. Okay. Now, this is a chain made out of a combination of pearl. Okay. You don't have one pearl. Right? You don't have one pearl. There are a number of pearls. So, when something is created with a combination, right, which is made out of several components or several units, we can use the term unit. Okay, this is what? How many units you have? Many. So when units, several units combines together, you call it as the polymer. You call it as what? A polymer. Right? Polymer. You have poly number of units. Poly number of units. That means you have several number of units together, combining together. Combination of several units together, you call it as a polymer. Right? Then the monomer is representing one unit. Now this is what? This is one unit. All together will make up a polymer, which means several number of monomer. Now I am advancing you, right? Earlier I told the word unit. Explain you what is a monomer. You know what is a monomer, which is a unit. One single thing is a unit. That is a monomer. That is a monomer. When you have a combination of monomer, several combination of monomer, you call it as a polymer. Understood the difference between the monomer and the polymer? Everyone understood the difference? Any doubt?
No.
Right. Good. Right? Then let's move to the next part. Okay? Then you have, now tell me, I'm going to give you a polymer. Right? Look here. I'm going to give you polythene, the plastic that is polythene. Right? Polythene. Poly means what, children? Poly means you know that is multiple. You have several number of ethene together will form the polythene. That is the idea, no? Poly means what? Numerous, multiple. You have many, uncountable synonyms, right? I'm telling you the same thing in different ways so that you can understand, okay? Ethene, you know what is an ethene, right? You know the ethene, right? When you have poly number of ethene, they will form a polythene. Poly number of ethene, you call it as a polythene. Now, first of all, you have to know the monomer. What is the monomer? What can you tell? Poly is numerous. Ethene, poly number of ethene is the polythene. Okay, you call it as the polythene. Now tell me, what is the monomer? The single unit is the monomer. Just have a guess. It doesn't mean you have to give me the correct answer, but have a guess. Very good. That is ethene. Ethene, you know that poly number of ethene will bring you a polythene. Right? Poly number of ethene will bring you a polythene. Then what is the structure of ethene? Okay. You have eth, 2 carbon. Ene, double bond. Ene means what? Double bond. Right? Then carbon. You know how to draw an angular bond for ethene. Right? Hydrogen. Right? This is ethene. Right? Now, you are going to show that polythene. How are you going to show that? Poly. Poly means children. Do you have a specific number? Now, can I tell that poly is equal to 100? Okay? Can I exactly tell that? Poly number of thing means it is 100. Can I tell that? No. Why is that? It is uncountable. You can relate it to many, more than 100, more than 1,000. The amount that you can't count, you call it as the poly. Right? Then children, what I am going to do is, I am going to have a bracket. Okay? I am going to have a bracket and I am going to write a simple A. This will indicate or represent that is poly. Then look, polyethylene, polyethylene. Did you get the idea? You have an N to show that there is poly number of ethene is there. Right? Did you understand how polyethylene structure is formed?
Yes, miss.
Right. Now, this is the one thing. This is the monomer which is going to repeat. This is the same thing. Now, from here, you will have another ethene molecule. Another. Poly number of time they will be present. So, therefore, you call this as the repeating unit. What do you call it as it? Repeating unit. So the repeating unit of polythene is ethene. Did you understand what is the repeating unit? And this is the entire structure for the what? Polythene. Right? When you write the repeating unit, you don't indicate with the bracket. Don't indicate it with the bracket. Just the ethene molecule. Just the ethene structure is needed when you are representing the repeating unit. When you are writing the repeating unit, just write this. If they ask the polythene structure, add a bracket and put a X, simple X. So therefore, it will be representing what you are telling. Clear?
Yes, miss.
Right. Then the next one. Now you are going to attend. Now these questions are there in the tute. You can do it. I just wanted to cover up the main theory part so that you can do it at home at least. Right? Okay. Listen. Now this is for you. Right? This is for you. Polychloro, polychloroethene. Okay, you're going to do for polychloroethene. Right. I'll give you 2 minutes. Attempt this question. Attempt it. No. When you write it with a simple bracket and an N, that shows the structure of the polymer. Polymer means what? The complex one. Now, initially we did the polythene, no? So, when you have the ethene inside and a with N, that will indicate the polythene structure. Repeating unit means what is repeating continuously? That is the ethene structure. So, ethene structure, you just draw the ethene structure. This structure, you just draw that to get the repeating unit. This is the repeating unit. Right? This is the one. So, if you want to show the polythene structure, you add a bracket and an A to show that is the polythene structure. Understood? Okay. You're welcome. Right. Do it, everyone. Right. We'll discuss. Look here. Look, this is easy, not hard. Okay, not hard. We did the question. Okay. Poly. What do you mean by poly? Go word by word. Don't just wonder while looking at a single term. No. Look and analyze what is happening. Poly means multiple or several. Multiple or several, you can call it in that way. Right? Chloro. What do you mean by chloro? Chlorine. There is a chlorine. Okay? There is a chlorine. Okay? Eth means what? 2 carbon. Ene. What do you mean by ene? Double bond. E means double bond. Right now, you are going to assemble everything together. You are going to assemble everything together. 2 carbon with a double bond. 2 carbon with a double bond. You are having 1 chlorine connected and the remaining are what? Hydrogen. Right? Now what is this? This is the structure for chloroethene. This is the structure that we drew for chloroethene. This is going to act as the repeating unit. This is going to act as what? The repeating unit. This is going to act as the repeating unit. Okay. Now, if I ask you the structure for polychloroethane, you add a bracket. Since you have the word poly, you add simple a to show that it is numerous. So therefore, this is going to act as the what? Repeating unit. When you add the bracket, you will get the polychloroethane. Polychloroethane, which is used in our simple term, which is the PVC. PVC tube, the tube which connects the water supply and stuff like that. So therefore, that is PVC. I hope you know what is PVC. PVC tube, right? So what is the monomer, children? What is the monomer? Polychloroethane is made out of what monomer? Very good. That is chloroethane. Chloroethane is the monomer. What is a polymer then? What is a polymer? Polychloroethane. Okay, polychloroethane. Right? Okay, Hamna, I'll check it. If you have sent it in WhatsApp, once the class is over, I'll check and send you the reply. Right. So if you want, you can also send your structures. I can go through and if you made a mistake, I can let you know. Yes. Now, children, there is no difference between the polymer and the monomer. Now, look, this is one thing. Okay, this is the monomer. This is the one that is going to continue to the rest to form a polymer. Now, as I told you, when you have a pearl chain, this is like think this is one chloroethene. This is another chloroethene. Then obviously there should be double bond to connect because ene is having double bond. Okay. So therefore, you connect it with double bonds. Here, anyone is having a doubt? Any doubt? Yes. To the repeating unit, you have to put the double. So when you add the double line only, you can understand that is a structure of chloroethane. Now imagine when you don't have a structure, when you don't have the double line, single line. Does it make sense for chloroethane? Chloro means you have one chlorine, H, 2 carbon. Ene is for double bond. You can't a single bond and finish it. So therefore, to complete the idea, you have to add double bond. Understood? Anyone is having a doubt? Yes. So when you add the bracket, it represents the poly. Okay, it represents the polychloroethene. The same thing is repeating to the n times. This is the structure. It is repeating for the n time, which means the poly number of time. Understood? Right. So then let's move to the next one. Right. Then the next structure. Okay. Then the next structure. Then now let's do from the tube what we have the remaining. Now the structures are enough of doing because we are practicing so many things now. So many questions we were doing for the day. So we'll do some questions. Have anything else to do? Hmm. Check. we did this. We do this the 10th and the 11th polymer and the monomer. Then complete these diagrams, right? Then the users of the polymers, right? Then the users of polymers. Now, when you talk about plastic, you can make like PVC. Plastic can be used to make what? We can use to make what? Tires, sleepers, or shoes. So those kind of things like pipes can be used, right? To produce pipes, you use PVC, polythene, right? So not polythene for pipes, but for other things you use it, right? So those kind of things you can state over there. Do it, children. Mansala, that let me know. I want everyone to attempt the question. Children, don't add the double bond when you are using for the but when you are writing the repeating unit and the what polymers, because it is correct, but your book doesn't say you to do that, so don't do it. Okay, you add the double bond, but your book doesn't say to add it, so therefore don't add it. Okay, we'll go safe with the questions itself, the way they have given. I have made it small, now you can see, right? Yeah. It shows us that, yeah. Given as they have given that the repeating unit and the polymers do not have the double bond. Okay, we'll go with that itself now, since your book is saying that. Different books says different knowledge, and it's quite like it's confusing. Like you study something in your O levels, when you go to A levels, everything will change. In A levels, you use double bonds. Then you learn why you use. Here you use single bond, but it doesn't make sense at all, right? But what to do? In order to pass the exam, you have to do that. Yes. Numerous number of monomer are known as polymers. Yes. They don't actually ask the definition. They just give you the diagram or the experiment that we studied earlier. They ask that actually, or they ask about the rubber. We will be studying in a while. Probably yes, I will be finishing, but it will take around 10 minutes extra. We'll finish it by 6:10. Is it okay if I fix the time till 6:10? So that I can finish the lesson and next week I can start the biosphere. If not, this is very small part. I have to drag it for the next week. Okay, so then that's fine. So then we can have it until 6:10, just the 10 minutes. So you can complete the lesson and leave. Right. So I think the time is enough. So I think we did not do for the polytetrafluoride, right? I think we did not do that. So we'll do it. Right. The remaining I was discussing all this time. So you can get the idea from that. Okay. Polytetrafluoride is normally called as the Teflon. So Teflon is used for the heat resistant. Okay. Teflon is used for heat resistant. So that is the use of it. The special property of it is that. And to make non-stick, snowshoes are normally made out of Teflon. Okay, to have a heat resistant. Then pans are used out made out. Cooking pans are made out of Teflon. Okay, so that is Teflon. Polytetrafluoride. Fluoride. Right. That is what we have to do. Polytetrafluoroethene. Okay. Poly means that is multiple. Right? Tetra for fluorine is fluorine. Eth is 2 carbon. Ene is double bond. Right? So since they tell you don't use the double bond, don't use it. Okay? To get the marks. Okay? Don't use it. Monomer. For monomer you can use, but don't use it for the repeating unit and the polymer. Okay? So if they ask you the monomer, what is going to be a monomer? You're going to have 2 carbon and joining with a double bond, then 4 fluorine. Sorry, fluorine. Right? So this is the monomer. Okay, this is the monomer. The first picture is the monomer. First diagram is the monomer, first structure. Then the second structure, I'm drawing the repeating unit. Repeating unit with the single bond. Okay, this is the repeating unit. Then the polymer is going to be this. You have a bracket and add an end. This is the monomer. This is the repeating unit. And this is the polymer. Alright. So monomer means which is the simplest unit. Okay. One unit you call it as the monomer. Or in other terms you can tell the small molecules. The single unit is known as the monomer. Or else you can the small units contributing for the polymer. You can tell it that way as well, no problem. Right. So did you all draw this, children? Did you all get it correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Which one is different? Like the alkaline. How it is given in the book? The alkaline. Rank 62. I have to find the book first. Yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. No problem. For the repeating, but that is the scene. Now, what they are trying to tell is for monomer, you have to draw in this structure itself. when you are drawing the repeating unit and the polymer, you have to change it. Like if you draw this also, you will get it correct, no problem in that. But when you are but according to the book, that is correct. But this is also correct, no problem. Anyways, you can draw. But the monomer cannot be changed. The structure should be the same for monomer. Repeating unit and the polymers is fine. But better to maintain one structure. Now imagine if they ask you to draw the monomer, but you draw the other structure, which cannot be acceptable, which is not acceptable, right? So when you draw that, that is wrong. So in a way, the book is like a bit confusing yourself. Okay, it is confusing you. So better to stick to one. Yes. Make it as one bond for the repeating unit. Monomer, you will have two bonds, same structure. Repeating unit and the polymer, you can change the structure with one bond. You can have one bond. You're welcome. But better to stick to this method, which is making your work easy. Now, what you know is here, okay, if it is fluoroethene, this is the structure. But repeating unit, cut one bond, then you can have that. So that in a way that is easy for you to memorize and study. Right? So structures cannot be actually memorized. The understanding is important. So make sure you go with that. Here see, in my school, they use the double bond. Double bond is correct, right? Double bond is correct. It is not wrong. But the book gives you as a single bond. So I would prefer, the main target for you is not to become a scientist, right? The target is to complete your O-level and move to the next step. So for that, I would tell you to the book. That is the best way, not only in science, but to develop your knowledge, that is a different story. But to pass the exam, better to stick to the book. So that is why even I change it to the single bond. Initially, I was teaching you about the double bond. That is correct. That is not at all wrong. But what they do is they are just confusing. There is a problem. So the use of polythene to make polythene is a type of a plastic. Okay, plastic is a type of a polythene. Okay, it can be used to make plastic plastic bottles, polythene polythene bags, garbage bins, all the plastic made out of plastic material. You can take it as the use of polythene. Right. Now let's talk about the rubber soon. There's not much time, right? So let's see. Look into the rubber. Okay. Now rubber is also a type of a a type of a hydrocarbon. It is a type of a hydrocarbon, right? Then before we go to that, children, there are two types of polymers. Okay, polymers are present in two types. So one is natural and artificial. One is natural and artificial. Okay, one is natural and artificial. So natural are rubber. Just note it down in the tube. Rubber, you have rubber. Then you can have protein. Protein is a polymer made out of amino acid. DNA is a polymer made out of nucleic acid. Then you have starch, which is made out of what? Glucose. It is a polymer of glucose. Then you have what? Cellulose is also a polymer of glucose. RNA is a polymer of nucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay? Right. Then talking about the artificial, you can have polythene. Then you can have PVC. Then you have Teflon. Teflon is what? Polytetrafluoroethane. Okay? PVC is polychloroethane. Okay? Then you have nylon, polyester, you have other things as well, but those are not needed. For now, what you have studied, based on that, you can have this idea. Right. Now, can I erase this part to teach you about the to teach about the rubber? Now look here children. Rubber is a natural polymer. Rubber is a natural polymer which is a hydrocarbon. Okay. Now the structure of rubber you have to memorize. The structure of rubber you have to memorize. Rubber will have 4 carbon. Rubber will have 4 carbon. Okay, rubber will have how many carbons? 4. Right? On one carbon, both the sides will be having hydrogen attached. Right? Then you have a double bond in between, a single bond, and there are 2 double bonds and 1 single bond. Okay? Both the side you will have the hydrogen. Both the side you will have the hydrogen attached. And on one carbon, 1 hydrogen, and on the other you will have a carbon, another type of a carbon molecule, hydrocarbon molecule, right? So this is the structure of rubber. You have to study this, right? No way to like get a physical answer like as I have told you like the structure, because you have not yet grown up to study that. Okay, so therefore just memorize the structure. The study is undergo the process and study. Okay, you have 4 carbons. Again I'm repeating, you have 4 carbons. On both the sides, carbon is attached to 2 hydrogens, totally 4 hydrogens. Then you have remaining 2 carbons. 1 carbon is attached to hydrogen and the other one is attached to CH3. Then you have 2 double bond and 1 single bond. Right? So then the repeating unit is going to be what? This is the repeating unit. They are not changing the double bond. They are not changing the double bond. So therefore stick to that way. Right? They are not changing the double bond. So therefore stick to that way. Then if you have the, now you know that this is the monomer. Monomer is known as isoprene. Okay, the monomer of rubber is known as the isoprene. Okay, isoprene is the monomer. If this isoprene combines polytimes, that will give you the rubber. That will give you the rubber. Understand the structure of rubber? Understood the structure? Clear? Anyone is having a doubt? You can't see that in. Here the end. All right. Right. Okay, this is the structure that you have to know. Then what you have is, now this polymers can be in 3 types. Okay, this polymer can be in 3 types. Okay, that is, there are 3 structures of polymer, right? The first structure of polymer is the linear structure. You call it as the linear polymer. Okay, the first polymer is what? The linear polymer. Then you have the side polymer. You have the lines. They have been connected something like this. This you call it as the side polymer, or you call it as a side chain. Okay, you call it as the side chain polymer. This is the structure. Right? Then what do you have is, in polymer, 1 double bond, 2 single bond. In rubber, you have 2 double bond and 1 single bond. Okay, you have 2 double bonds in both the corners. Connecting the middle to carbon, there is a 1 single bond. Something like this. This is the structure. In the book, there is the structure given. That is for this one. That is for the polymer. I asked you for the polymer. But you can write this. You can. Even though the book gives this is the correct one to write. Okay, you can stick to this as well, no problem. Not an issue. right? Then the third one is the cross link. Okay, the cross link. Okay, like you have bricks on the wall, that is the cross link. So these are the three structure or types of polymer based on their structure, right? Cross link, right? Can you please write this down in the tute as well? Can you complete the tute, please? The people who have the tute. Which one, Rifa, you want me to explain? Just now I read your message. Which one are you asking to explain? Right? Isoprene. Okay. Give me a minute. I'll zoom the right. Write the repeating unit, and I think you did this. Then do the next one. Other natural polymers also we did. If you haven't read that, please write it. Right now, here do this question. What is on the board? Draw the three structure based on their shape, the structure. Isoprene, any other example in the sense? Isoprene is the monomer of rubber, right? Now, when you have the rubber, right, this is the structure. Wait, can I write it? Will you be able to see? Okay, I'll write it on the corner because others are writing the work. Okay, this is the structure of isoprene. Okay, you will have double bond. 4 carbons are there. Okay, this is the structure. You have hydrogen, hydrogen. Connecting to this, you have CH3. Connecting to this, you have hydrogen. And here is hydrogen, and here is a hydrogen. This is the structure for isoprene, right? When you are writing as the repeating unit or the polymer, especially the polymer, erase the double bond, put single bond, connecting one, write it as the double bond, and put the bracket and the end. Okay, this is for the polymer. Repeating unit, remove the bracket and the end, so therefore you will get the same structure. Okay, the same thing, this structure you have to memorize. Okay, you can't understand and write it because you will not understand how this structure is formed. Now, when you are planning to do A levels or an advanced studies in chemistry, then you will study this. For your O level knowledge, it is not necessary. You are too small to understand that process. So do it, children. So then we can move to the next part as well. Then children, can you add on a question? I have missed that question to add. Can you add the structure? This is going to be the question. Below to that, if you have space in the tube, just draw this. And below to that, first draw this figure. I'll explain that and give you the question. Right. Can I erase then, children? Are you all done with the work? If yes, let me know. Right. Okay. Now look here. Now, when you have the rubber will be in a linear shape. Rubber will be in a linear shape, right? It will undergo a process called the vulcanized process. Vulcanization is a process. Okay. So the rubber is made harder, right? Vulcanization means that is a process where the rubber is made harder. The elasticity of rubber is reduced. So that is why the tires are so hard. The rubber band is also the rubber. The same rubber is only the tire, but you have the texture different. So the rubber band is elastic. Elasticity is high in the rubber band, while when you take the tire, it is less in elasticity. So what you can understand, the rubber has undergone a process called the vulcanization. Vulcanization. So after undergoing the process, the natural rubber will be in a shape like this. A wavy shape will be present. So after the process vulcanized one, they will have the same one, but they will have a kind of a cross. This is going to be the structure. This is a vulcanized rubber structure. Right? This is the natural rubber. This is the natural rubber. Right? This is one you have to add. Okay, add these two structures, children, because I have missed that question to add. So add it. Right. Are you done? Children, if possible, can you send your feedback of the lesson, what you studied today, whether did you all understand and how it was and what did you experience with me. So just share your thoughts, your mind, your thoughtful ideas on how was the session to this number. Send a review or a feedback to this number. This is my number. Send it to that. So then I can go through it and if there are any changes to be made, that can be done. So share your reviews in WhatsApp so then I can read it peacefully. Okay. So I'll be taking everyone's message to a concern, right? So then I will be looking forward to it. Okay. So children, tell me, did you understand the lesson before you leave? Okay, you can send me a review later. Okay. You can send it later in a while once the class is over. Now tell me before we leave, right? Is it clear? Did the session was useful to you? Yes or no? Did you learn something new? Right. So make sure each and every class that you join, all the time think, did you improve yourself? When you leave the class, you should have something better than the last time. Okay, better than 2 hours. Have you improved yourself? Think about it. Yes. So that means you are learning something new. You are learning something new. Not just taking, like, I don't mean like you have to take 100 out of 100. No. The small improvement will lead you to success. Right? So small thing will always make you succeed. Right? So we'll look forward for more free sessions, inshallah. Till that, Assalamu alaikum. Take care. Bye. So share your review to this number. Okay. So then I can read peacefully. Okay. Right. Barakallah. You can leave. Asma, do you have anything to ask me inside?